This one, you're ready to sign off on the Giants season. And look, it's extremely early to do that, and it is easy to kind of get lost in the moment. The Giants, they find a way to win at New Orleans, and they were down by 11 in the fourth quarter and did so as well late. So it does show something in terms of the fight and not giving up. And look, now next we have a game at Dallas where you can get a little bit excited about it. And so I'll be the first to admit, in this game, I wasn't happy with the Giants. I did not want the Giants to win this game. Realistically, I don't really see where they go this year. I don't love, and this isn't like on Joe Judge specifically, but I haven't really loved what I've seen from Joe Judge this year. But certainly Jason Garrett, I don't like what I've seen, and so it was a game I kind of thought that we would lose, and it seemed like we were going to. But now it's a big game at Dallas next week, and I think that I don't think it's going to be easy. I don't necessarily see us winning back-to-back at New Orleans and Dallas, but at this point, maybe this can be the start of something. And if they had gone 0-4, I think there would have been a lot of talk about certainly jobs being on the line and where are they going to go in the future, and deservedly so in some ways. But I guess if you want to look at it from a different perspective, the Giants could easily be 3-1. Certainly no worse than 2-2. So it kind of makes those previous losses sting just a bit more. I mean, that Washington loss, they absolutely should have won. And then the Atlanta one, they really just let slip away as well. So the Giants do a great job of coming back. And one person who has not been really an issue at all this year is Daniel Jones. I mean, Daniel Jones throws for over 400 yards, 2 touchdowns. He would also get a 2-point conversion as well. And he threw 1 interception, but it was on a Hail Mary at the end of the half. So it's, and actually, come to think of it, I guess they did. Okay, so the John Ross touchdown, they gave it back to Jones. I know that I heard that they took it away from him, but on the stat sheet, it looks like he did get credit for that touchdown. Either way, Daniel Jones has looked very, very good. I think that, obviously we need to see how the full season plays, but if you were to say, is Daniel Jones your quarterback next season? Right now, I'm saying yes. Right now, I'm definitely saying yes, and there's a ways to go here, but he has impressed me. He looks good. He's making good decisions. He's throwing a good ball. And what was also good to see was Kenny Galladay definitely got involved and made some big catches, and he is a big play threat. So even though there was no Darius Slayton or, more importantly, Sterling Shepard, Kadarius Toney got involved, and you could tell, and you could see why the Giants were interested in him. Also, John Ross, who is a speedster, ends up with a 52-yard touchdown catch. And Saquon Barkley, who in the running game is kind of virtually non-existent, in my opinion, but in the passing game, he made a big 54-yard play. So the Giants have lacked that big play explosiveness. It was there today. It was there in this game where they did make big plays, and it did help them win. And the defense without Blake Martinez, they did a really good job of stopping Alvin Kamara. He 26 carries, 120 yards. He didn't destroy them. So the Giants defense kind of did what it needed to. And were there times when maybe, it could have been worse? Yes, but they did what they had to. And early, the Giant offense really didn't get going at all. They were, trading off punts, and the Giants, the Saints went for it on 4th and 3 at the Giants 29 and did not convert. I thought Leonard Williams was more active today. He definitely made much more of an impact. And so, the Giants stopped him there. But then the Giants, I did not understand this. The Giants on 4th and 1 at the New Orleans 16 decide to kick the field goal, and they actually miss it. Graham Gano misses a 35-yard field goal, which is uncharacteristic of him. But it's 4th and 1 at the New Orleans 16. You're 0-3. Just go for it. So, very, very conservative. And, I guess karma kind of comes back to bite us. They end up with no points. Then what was weird is that after Sean Payton doesn't go for it on 4th and 3rd, where he does go for it on 4th and 3 at the 29, here, 4th and 3 at the 40, he goes for an Aldrick Rosas 58-yard field goal, the former Giant, and he misses it. Rosas goes wide right. It had the distance, but it was wide. And then the Giants get on the board. First play of the drive after I felt like just the play calling was not good at all up until that point. It would be a John Ross 52-yard touchdown from Daniel Jones. And it was key. And, the ruling was that Ross did not, where Ross had fumbled it right at the goal line and then he recovered it. So either way, it was a giant touchdown, but I guess it was really going to be how it was determined statistically. But John Ross, this was his first game as a Giant, and he could be an interesting player. The Giants, again, the talent is there, especially in the receiving game. There's a lot of weapons for the Giants to throw to and for Daniel Jones to throw to. And so that makes it 7-0. But typical Giant defense, end of the half, struggles. And the Saints would have a 13-play, 75-yard drive for 8 minutes and 28 seconds, and it would end off in a Jameis Winston 15-yard touchdown pass to Juwan Johnson. So that would make it 7-7, and it would be that way at half. So where the Giants really, this could have gone either way, but where the Giants probably should have been winning or could have, they end up tied. And New Orleans would go right away in that first half, and it would be a 58-yard reception by Callaway. And eventually Taysom Hill would get an 8-yard touchdown run where he just, I think it was that one. Actually, to be honest with you, he had two of them. So on one of them, I think it was the first one. The Giants missed like a million tackles. It was embarrassing. Like Taysom Hill just barreled his way through the Giant defense. And so Hill gets the touchdown, makes it 14-7. And the Giants settle for a field goal. It's first and goal at the 3, Barkley for 1 yard. Then they do a stupid play, like an end-around rush for Evan Ingram. Garrett loves that play. It doesn't work. It's stupid. They lose 3 yards. And eventually they would settle for a 23-yard field goal. Really bad job. But then the Giants caught a break where the Saints would score a 46-yard touchdown, but there'd be a holding penalty. It was the right call. It was a holding penalty. So it comes back, and then Taysom Hill. So it was Winston to Stills for 56 yards. The next play, Hill tries to throw a bomb himself, and James Bradbury gets an interception. But the Giants would punt. And Evan Ingram is just, he really is bad. It's gotten to the point where fans don't like him, and deservedly so. He's just been terrible. And the Saints would make it 21-10 on the next drive, an 11-play, 63-yard drive that would end in a Taysom Hill 8-yard touchdown. So again, Hill with another touchdown makes it 21-10. And let's just fast forward. And this ends up being a pretty big play where it's 3rd and 2 at the Saint 25 with under 8 minutes left, 21-10 game. And Taysom Hill would go for no gain as Azeez Ojulari and Lorenzo Carter combine on a tackle to keep it that way. So it's 21-10, and C.J. Board with a key 26-yard punt return to midfield. And it would be a first play of the drive. It's interesting. John Ross, first play of the drive, and then this first play of the drive. Saquon Barkley, 54-yard touchdown reception from Daniel Jones. And the 2-point conversion is good as well. Daniel Jones rushes 2 points and makes it a 3-point game. And the Saints would punt as there would be a key delay, a game that would stunt them. And so the Saints punt back to the Giants, and the Giants would have 3 minutes left, ball thrown 11, down 3. And Kadarius Toney would get an 11-yard catch, and Kenny Golladay had a really key 28-yard reception on a 3rd and 7. That was a really key play. And eventually Graham Gano would nail a 48-yard field goal. So pretty typical of the Giants would settle for the 3 when there was a point when it looked like, maybe they can get a touchdown. But, so not surprising that would be the case. So, Gano makes up for that missed field goal, ties it up, and we go to overtime. And the Giants would win the coin toss. And by virtue of winning the coin toss, they would get the ball first. And in overtime, touchdown wins. Field goal, the other team gets the ball back. Touchdown wins, and the Giants would get a touchdown. I really didn't think they would. I thought, knowing the Giants, maybe they'd settle for the 3 and maybe still win. But the Giants would have a 9-play, 75-yard drive. And John Ross with a 17-yard catch. John Ross would have another 8-yard catch. So John Ross would actually play a pretty pivotal role in overtime. And on a 2nd and 14, it would be a nice play from Daniel Jones to Saquon Barkley to gain a first. And that would put the Giants in Saint territory. But really the key play, 3rd and 5 at the Saint 29 with with the rules being what they are, you need a touchdown to win it. Kenny Golladay, 23-yard catch to the 6. And on 1st and goal at the 6, Saquon Barkley gets the game-winning 6-yard touchdown. And the Giants somehow, down by 11, fairly late in it was big plays. It was a John Ross big play, Saquon Barkley, a bunch of chunk plays to Kenny Golladay. And the Giants win at New Orleans 27-21. So, if they had lost this game, certainly I think then you're really going through the motions. Now, I think it makes for an interesting Giant Cowboy game, right? I think now, for me, this is a game where, I want the Giants to win this one. And I admit that, rooting against the Giants against the Saints, it was a personal choice. And I still don't really see the Giants going places this year. But if you can win at Dallas, who right now is the best team in this division, if you can do that, that absolutely changes the narrative. It does. And so this will be an interesting game. Hopefully this is a pivotal game for week 5. If the Giants lose this game, I really think that you can kind of just say that the season, for all intents and purposes, is done. But if they can win this game, all of a sudden you're 2-3, you're 1 game out, you have that win at Dallas, and it changes the way you look at things. So, and again, I think Daniel Jones, really is coming into his own. He is playing very smart football, but making plays at the same time. So it's really exciting. And let's just hope that they can carry this momentum to the next game. It's one thing to win at New Orleans, but now, you have this game against Dallas, a divisional opponent. You lost at Washington. If you can win at Dallas, you can maybe turn this thing around. But my expectations are still very tempered, but this was an impressive win, especially with the injuries that they have. To go to New Orleans, it's not an easy place to play, and to come back the way they did, winning in overtime, credit to the Giants. So they get their first win of the season. They're 1-3, and now they head to Dallas for what should be a very interesting game, and it'll go a long way in determining how this 2021 season will go.